Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
For any new brokeheads out there, the way we format the show is first we cover some news ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, and then we jump into our comic book reviews for the pull list of the week.
As we're recording this episode right now, it is the night before Halloween. Did you have any Halloween plans this year?
I'm working on Halloween, but it's okay because it's during Halloween Comic Fest, which for any participating retailers throughout the country, comic shops, it's essentially the fall's new comic book day.
That's awesome, and at least you get off at a decent hour, so you could still do something with your life. I will be getting off at like 2 in the morning. But I too will be working. For all of you who got the opportunity to go out and celebrate, I hope it was fantastic. I hope everybody was safe. And if you have a pretty kick-ass costume, go ahead and send it to us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. We'd love to see and be super envious because my costume I will be wearing is not a fun one.
I remember a costume I had as a kid. One year I went as Superman. The following year I went as Spawn. And then the year after that, I wanted to go as Spawn again, but it was the costume portion of it was more like a stretchy plastic type of thing, and it had ripped previously over the year that it was in storage. Those things are cheap, you know how they're held together with rubber bands and all that nonsense. Well, what I did is I still wanted to go as Spawn, so I took the Spawn mask because that was the coolest part of the costume. I put that on, and I still had the cape. But then I had the Superman body armor, so it was Spawn Superman, and everyone thought it was the coolest thing. Like, all the adults only were like, oh, it's Spawn Superman. That's awesome. I remember that. And I couldn't wear it anymore after that because the costume did not make it through for another year. But Spawn Superman, I don't think has been done yet, so there's an idea, artists.
Go ahead and do Spawn Daniel Superman. It needs to be you under there, though.
It can't be the child version of me, so it's still got to have the long hair popping up from underneath the mask for the Spawn thing.
The beard.
The shirt that's way too small, so it just covers my chest.
Love this.
So speaking of terror things, first bit of news is movie with Disney. All in one.
Yes, so Disney's Tower of Terror attraction, as featured in parks for Anaheim, Paris, and Orlando, will be next in receiving a movie treatment.
Disney's previous right-to-film attractions include The Country Bears,
Weird,
Tomorrowland, The Haunted Mansion, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Cool! Pirates of the Caribbean!
The most successful one of those.
Yeah, awesome. All 2 of them. There were only 2 movies, right?
And you'll still go to the midnight for the new one.
I will go to the midnight for number 5, and I'll leave and feel dead inside.
And then you'll be back for the 6th.
As long as they spit out those movies, I'll go see them. This is a really cool idea, though. There's so much that they can do with this. Hopefully it will turn out better than the Haunted Mansion one with... Oh, what was his name?
Eddie Murphy.
I got the Murphy. I was going to call him Bill Murphy, but that's Bill Murray. And that's totally...
That would have been a much better movie.
Not the same person. So I'm really interested. Is it going to be similar to, like... I feel like Tower of Terror had a movie, though.
It had a TV... Well, it comes from the Twilight Zone.
Right.
Which confused me a little bit, because I think it's either Paramount or Warner Brothers that owns the film treatment to... the Twilight Zone. So since Tower of Terror does tie into it, I'm wondering if Disney's allowed to do it, or obviously they are if they're going into production.
There was totally like a Disney Channel movie that was Tower of Terror.
Yes, you're right.
Back in the 90s.
There was. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was almost a mini-series or like a straight-to-television movie.
It was straight to television, I do remember, because I watched it and I'm like, this isn't that scary. Click.
So with the new one, do you think they'll take it more seriously and go with the same direction that they almost did in the Haunted Mansion remake with Guillermo del Toro?
I hope so, because it would be a much better movie than the one that we had for Disney Channel. It'd be cool if they tied it into like The Shining too, and like the elevator doors open and it's just like hallways of blood. Can they do that?
Only after over 26 tries, because if it's got to be still Stanley Kubrick. They got to do that method and just keep doing takes over takes until it's absolutely perfect, just like he wanted it. He was an insane man. There's also another film that is based on an attraction that they are working on, and this one is Jungle Cruise, which will star Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay, so that's already a goofy ride.
With a goofy
actor, so it's gonna be a goofy movie. I want that to be the most serious one too. Like they're lost in this jungle cruise and there's all these things coming at them. That would be really cool.
No release date or cast has been confirmed for Tower of Terror. This is all early news.
Can I pick my cast?
Go for it.
I want it to star Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, all right.
Perfect. Like the hotel steals his daughter, and so the elevator steals his daughter, and he has to go try and kill the elevator.
And he kills ghosts along the way.
Yes. Oh, this is perfect.
That would be great. Are we going to see Tower of Terror?
Of course we're going to. Well, let's wait and see. If Liam Neeson's in Tower of Terror, for sure.
Tower of Taken.
It's perfect.
So now we've got superhero news.
Yep, continuing on with some movie news. In Total Film's latest issue, an interview with Ben Affleck on the possibility of directing a Batman film was brought up.
Long rumored, and what we thought had been confirmed at this point, but now it looks like they just asked him about it, and his quote was, "If I could make it work, yeah, obviously that would be like a dream. The trick is, as to any movie, is to make sure that you, if you're going to direct it, that you can make it good. You've got to have the right idea and the right take on it. Broadly speaking, it's something I'd be open to for sure. It's a very exciting idea." End quote.
So I thought this was already confirmed. But I do like that he points out, like, look guys, if I can't make it good, I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want, like, the Fantastic Four that we just had. So I like that he has that take on it. I think this film will be made. Let's be realistic.
Of course, it's got to happen.
Of course,
it's a moneymaker.
But it's nice that he's quoted saying this, because hopefully that means that he's going to work a little bit harder to make it exactly what he knows this movie deserves.
If they do plan on bringing out some kind of Batman film within the next couple of years, the script has to be in the works by now, or at least some ideas on who the writer is going to be, or at least a couple of writers all working on a script and then choosing from there if you're the studio, going through rewrites, all of that thing. There are rumors already on who the villains may be for this movie, but before we go into those rumors, who would you like to see in the solo Batman film? I think we might have covered this before with the Court of Owls was one of the ideas. Has that changed at all in the past couple of months?
I don't think so. I think the court would be so cool because you could get so much into the lore of Gotham and into its past and its history, which is so dark and really creepy, but really, really cool.
Especially with them introducing the Court of Owls in Gotham soon, supposedly. That will get the court into a lot of minds, a lot of people that watch Gotham, which is a ton out there. They will know, okay, so that's how the Court of Owls work. That's who they are. This is how they're important to Gotham and to Batman's life. They've only been around since 2011, because that's when the New 52 Batman came out. So there's not a lot of readers. It's not necessarily a classic Batman story that people know about. Very popular. It's still in the top 10 in graphic novel sales, but the general audience is not familiar with the Court of Owls. There's already been an animated movie in the Robin versus Batman, and they completely, we weren't happy about it. They butchered how certain scenes played out, and it's expected. You know, it's not always going to be as good as the book or the written material. But the rumor so far, and this is where it always begins because of clickbait and everything, and usually we hate talking about it, but this comes from Newsarama, which they don't tend to just throw everything out there like Latino Review. They did say that the Red Hood would be the villain in the Batman movie, and that Joker would make an appearance, which he would have to if you're going to use the Red Hood. And that connects with the Robin suit that they showed in Batman v Superman. If you see the trailer, the latest one, you see the Robin suit, ha ha ha, written all over it, the joke's on you. It has to be Jason Todd's costume. Is that a hint towards a future Batman movie?
I don't know that it is. The thing is, okay, so we just had the game, the Arkham Knight.
Right.
We've had animated movies recently on this story, and yes, it's a great story, but I feel like it's a little too played out at this point. Give me something new. I
will tell you, the Red Hood is an extremely popular character. Every week I have at least 3 people ask me for Red Hood merchandise or Red Hood books. So it's a very hot character. It's like a darker Robin. I'm not sure how people gravitate towards him. I think that's probably what it is. It's a rogue Robin that has gone up against Batman and is now, according to the Batman and Robin Eternal comic, now working with the other Robins, and he gets in line when Batman yells at him. Because he's still a Robin just like the rest of them.
Right.
So I think it could work. I think it would be a very good choice, given how popular the character is, and it is a villain that we haven't seen yet on the big screen, which is a big plus for me.
I agree. I think, again, this is probably what they're going to go with, and I'm sure they'll tell it in a way where it I don't know. I just feel like every time I hear the story, it doesn't feel fresh anymore. So if they can bring it to me in a way where it feels fresh and new and exciting, and I don't sit there and wait for him to go, why didn't you kill him? He took you away from me. Because that's all I think of. And that's what he says every single time, essentially, that I hear this story. So if they can give me this story and make it newer, then I'd be happy with it. But I don't feel that anybody's done that up to this point, so it's hard for me to envision somebody doing that.
I will admit that the Batman Under the Red Hood animated movie, even though it didn't have Kevin Conroy and it wasn't the animation that we're used to, the one that we grew up with, was still a very solid movie. And it was right there at the height of DC's animated movies that were more recent. So if they can adapt that and streamline it for film, I think it could be very successful, and it would make a lot of fans very happy. But maybe we'll get some more clues with next year's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which again releases March 25th, 2016.
Ugh, we're almost there.
Almost there. Less than half a year away.
So keeping up with some Batman news, we mentioned a little bit earlier about how they're bringing Court of Owls into Gotham, but we also have some new characters that are coming to the show as well.
That's right, Victor and Nora Freeze have been cast for the current season of Gotham.
Nathan Darrow, who plays Meacham from House of Cards, will play Victor, and Kristen Hager from Being Human will play Nora.
Reports from Deadline indicate that his origin will take a lot from Batman the Animated Series, which was the
best origin.
Yes, the best origin and the reinvention of the character of Mr. Freeze, who I believe was Mr. Zero at one point. And Paul Dini and Bruce Timm completely made one of the best Batman villains that you will probably ever have. One of the best origins to any Batman villain as well. So to see that they're taking that source material and putting it into Gotham, I think is very important. We will actually get to see the relationship between Victor and Nora in a way that we have never seen in the comics or in the animated show. Because this is a prequel. We're seeing everything beforehand, how they got along. In the animated comic book, we saw what happened when she was cured, and she saw Victor. In the animated series, even, she calls him a monster and doesn't want to have anything to do with him, so he's left by himself. It's very heartbreaking and really amazing. So to see how they were before any of that happened is going to be great to see.
Yeah, I can't wait for this to come out, because Mr. Freeze is probably one of our favorite... He's one of my favorite Batman villains.
Same here.
And I think he can play an integral part, even maybe in helping train Bruce in some way. He may be somebody that Bruce meets as a young kid, and that would make it even more heartbreaking when Batman has to take him down.
Yes.
You know, as an adult, because he understands his pain and what he's going through, and Batman himself could understand wanting to save somebody and go to any lengths to do that. I mean, obviously he becomes Batman because he couldn't save his parents. Spoilers!
Now, would you have a problem with them turning him into Mr. Freeze by the end of the season? Do you think it's way too soon? Do you think they have to match it with Batman growing up, meeting him, and then stopping him?
No, they don't have to match it with that. This is a different take on Batman. Their version of it, and you know, they've done a great job with it so far. I have very few complaints, and so if that's what they feel will drive the story and make it better in their perfect vision, then I'm okay with that. I would rather see Batman tackle that head on when he's an adult, but maybe it doesn't work out that way.
And we've seen that story as well, so this is a new spin, like you mentioned. It also responds very strongly and resonates to what viewers wanted from Season 1, and that was more characters, more villains. So it looks like we are going to get more of that, as the season is called The Rise of the Villains.
Yep.
Nathan Darrow as Victor Freeze, though, and Meacham from House of Cards, I
Yep.
was like, what the hell?
He tried out for the part. I don't think they watched House of Cards and went, that's him.
We found our Victor.
But Nora better watch out, because if Frank shows up, like, Meacham's gone.
Meacham starts making out with Gordon.
Gross!
Doing it for his country.
That scene made me so uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Even me, I was like, oh.
I was like, this guy's like my dad. Like, what are you doing,
Frank or Meacham?
Frank.
Oh, okay. He's making out with another guy.
Yeah. Like,
Very unexpected.
Yeah. Our last bit of television news, and I'm actually a little more excited for this one than I thought I would be. We had the pilot to Supergirl air this week.
Yeah, you can check it out on CBS.com. They still have the episode up, and the second episode will be up this week. We've seen the first 15 minutes or so, and then we both have work life, so we have to go to work and we have to pause it there. But so far, it's got an opening that takes off running. Like, here's the history right at the very beginning. You get put into Krypton as it's exploding, as you see Supergirl and Kal and the rest of the Kryptonians die, except for those two, and then they launch off.
Except for those two.
And the special effects are actually pretty decent. From what I understand, they actually did drop quite a bit of coin on this one.
But this show has brought up some questions for fans, and questions that we've heard in particular. The main one being, should there be an ongoing comic to accompany this show?
The answer is absolutely yes.
Of course, yes.
DC instead released a $1 Supergirl issue number 1 from the New 52. So it's part of their DC Essentials $1 issues. Here's the first one. Check out the back. It's advertising the trade paperback, which contains issues 1 through 6, and you can buy it for this much. I like those dollar books a lot. They're great, but that's not what Supergirl fans actually want.
Right.
I have one continuous customer that comes in every single month, and he used to buy Supergirl every single time it released, and now he's getting all kinds of other things. But when he saw that $1 book, he was like, is this the new Supergirl series to go with the show, something new? And I said, no, it's just a reprinting of number 1. And he's already read all that shit, so he's like, oh, all right. And he was disappointed. I have nothing to give him. He's already read the Supergirls, so there's nothing new that can get his excitement up. And to me, I don't know if I could be wrong, but that shows that they either forgot or that they have no faith in how well the Supergirl show actually does.
Right, and that's exactly what that means. You know, if you think your show's going to do well, you're going to push it any way you can. You're going to bring out a comic because maybe the comic will lead people to the show or vice versa. And it feels like they're bringing out the show and just kind of relying on, well, if people like the show, then we still have these other books out that they can pick up, and that's not what they should have done. They should have released a comic that had very much the same feel as the show, and that way they can pull in all those readers into the book and then maybe do some tie-ins with other characters and pull them into those. There was a great opportunity that they just missed out on.
It's very unfortunate, especially since the Supergirl series did not end on the strongest of sales, but the fan base will return once she gets a new number 1. And we will have a review of those first couple of episodes next week for Supergirl. If you did check it out, let us know what you thought on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke. If you don't use Twitter, on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. Still relating to Supergirl, though.
Yeah.
Artist Tony Silas, who has worked on Batman Beyond Unlimited 2.0, the Justice League Gods and Monsters tie-in comic book, he was actually at my local comic book shop doing signings and artwork and selling prints.
Yeah, and we did actually get a commission from him. Absolutely beautiful Supergirl piece.
Yeah, we had him do a Supergirl on a Justice League blank cover. It was either going to be that or Stargirl, and we already have a couple of Stargirls from other artists, so it's like, let's go with Supergirl, right? Why not? She's hot. People will really enjoy seeing the character, especially Supergirl fans that are getting into the character or going back into it. They'll like the drawing, and we love his artwork, so why not? And it came out absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't seen it yet, it is on Twitter, it is on Facebook. The artist himself, he's one of the artists that actually worked on that medium where he did it digital first, and then it would get translated over to print issues. And he did give us some very useful insight to how they actually have to be very careful in how they script out a story when giving it to the artist to put it on a page, because the artist has to be mindful of, okay, this is going to be split in half and put into one print page. How am I going to lay this out? Do you have too much dialogue? Maybe you should put less columns, less panels, maybe bigger panels, and how he learned and had to actually correct a lot of writers even when he did work on stuff like Justice League Gods and Monsters. So it was very interesting to see the hard work that goes into digital comics. The deadlines are much more strict as they do have to come out on a regular basis. It's not like print where you have a month. This is almost a weekly chapter that releases. So it was awesome to learn from him and to see that he is still working on other projects, is always working, and always very happy to talk to fans. He was so nice. It's great to see an artist that can be nice and talk to fans, because a lot of them do over the years get jaded and become kind of assholes.
Neil Adams. Yeah, that was my favorite part. Like, of course, our print is absolutely beautiful, but to get to hear him talk and say that his favorite part is talking to the fans and getting to interact with them, whereas he was even saying that there's some conventions that he doesn't like as much because he just has to work, and he can't talk to anybody. So, always awesome to meet these artists and see where they come from and learn a little bit more about this huge industry that we're such big fans of.
That will actually wrap it up for news this week. It was a little bit of a slower end of October for us, but we do want to thank and mention our sponsor for the Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater.
Coming up on Friday, December 4th at 8 p.m., so about 1 month away, we will be seeing Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions.
Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions has become the must-see video game concert of the year, giving fans and newcomers of all ages a chance to experience the evolution of the Pokemon franchise like never before.
Tickets start at $25, and you can find them at www.drphillipscenter.org.
If you're in the Central Florida area and you're a true Pokemon fan, that's the concert you cannot miss. Once again, www.drphillipscenter.org.
Can I give a Pokemon concert?
Exclusive to the podcast,
yes.
Right here.
I want to give a Pokemon concert. Dun 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 dun. That's the only song.
So is the bicycle one.
I know, because it's my favorite song. No, I know Lavender Town too. Dun 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 dun.
They've heard those two. Let's do the rival one where you're meeting him at the championship. So, as a kid, you were never more nervous.
Oh
than
yeah,
that
I was
moment.
so scared. My hands were sweaty, and I kept hitting A. I was like, A, and then you had to hit like the back button because that made their HP drop more.
All the superstitions we had as a kid.
Yes, and you know the really silly thing is I know none of those work, and I still do them when I play the game.
It's like a reflex, right?
Yeah.
What do you do when you throw a Pokeball and it's like
you
bumping?
have to hold down A.
Down A? Is that what you do?
No, you just hold A.
Just hold A, not down A.
No, when you shoot it, you press A to shoot it, and then you just hold it. And then it makes you catch them better. Have you never played a Pokemon's game?
I have. I never did any of that stuff, though.
Well, then you weren't playing it right. And I always thought, this was the silliest thing I ever thought, okay? So you know that man that guards the cave to Mewtwo?
Yes.
I always thought he had an afro.
Yeah, it did look like it because the cave outline was just this very clean, low graphics dome
and it
thing.
Was black, and his hair was black, and I was just convinced he had an afro.
It's just Gerald from Hey Arnold.
Yeah, and I didn't know why nobody else in the game had one.
So now we have our Patreon shout-out of the week.
This week it goes out to Alexander at Swordfish Show or purpleswordfish.com.
Yeah, head on over to purpleswordfish.com. It'll take you straight to his YouTube channel where he does put up Let's Plays every single week. Madden, a lot of indie games, and he does review them. Check out his reviews. They are absolutely awesome. Once again, on Twitter at SwordfishShow, purpleswordfish.com.
If you would like your very own shout out, all you have to do is become one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, that's just 25 cents an episode. You can help us out in reaching goals to improve the show.
The other tier we do have is $5 a month, courtesy of decalavenue.net. You will get decals every 3 months based on whatever's popular. Maybe we'll put out a poll and see what Broquettes want to see. But the first time, for the first 3 months that you do put out there, you will get a exclusive The Reasons I'm Broke decal.
And our third tier is $1 million a month, and you will get our firstborn.
I wonder if they could legally hold us to that. If someone was like, a billionaire was like, okay, here you go. I want a human. And judge is like, you promised, you said it, it's right here. They play it over and over again. It's like, all right, well,
no!
little Bruce.
Gone forever. Then it turns out it's a girl, and it's like, oh, well.
Well, have Selena.
No!
We do want to emphasize that the podcast will always be free. The greatest support is that you tune in every single week and interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, whatever it may be. Huge thanks to all of our listeners, all the brokettes out there.
So with that, guys, we can move into our comic book pull list of the week. It's a little bit of a shorter week, but no less memorable than any other week. We have some great stuff coming our way. We have 1 indie book, 1 Marvel book, and 4 DC.
Kicking it off with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 51, coming right off of a couple of weeks ago only that we had the big issue number 50.
Yeah. So this one is written by Tom Waltz, Bobby Curnow, and Kevin Eastman, with art by Ken Goering, and the colorist is Rhonda Pattinson.
Is this what you would call a setup issue?
Yes.
But I think we needed a setup issue after that action-packed number 50 that it was.
I would agree with that. This is kind of a downhill after what we just saw with all the craziness going on. I feel like we kind of went forward in time just a little bit.
Yeah.
So we see all these changes happened. They're kind of a little more established. Oh, but look, new people to fight.
The basic premise, and it's not a huge spoiler, is that the Turtles and Splinter want to control the criminal underground in their city and actually eradicate the rest of the smaller groups that are trying to fill in for what the Shredder was doing in the city. So they're like, if we're the dominating gang in the city, then there won't be crime. We can control any criminals that might pop up, and the city will be safe. And they're actually working with the Foot Clan to get this done, which is a pretty big fucking deal. If you're a TMNT fan at all, you know that this is very dangerous and awesome and exciting and a good thing.
Yeah, it was a really good issue. Great setup for what's coming next. I still feel bad for Mikey. I love him. He's making the right choice, guys.
He needs to just come home, quit being a fucking baby.
You let him do what he wants.
He's acting like Jason Todd now.
No, he's not. Not at all.
He's tired of not working with the Turtles, and he has to go be his own guy.
That's not what he's doing at all. He doesn't understand, and he just needs some space.
All right. So he's like an ex-girlfriend right now or something.
Don't make fun of Mikey. Just let him do what he wants. He's the best turtle.
Next one is our only Marvel book this week, and that is the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 1. That's the second number 1 in 2015 for Squirrel Girl. Written by Ryan North, art by Erica Henderson and Joel Morris, with colors by Rico Renzi.
So I know this has the same creative team, but it kind of has a different feel from what we got before. Did you get that also?
I did not. Like, maybe it was a little bit lighter, possibly, but that, to me, it was straight out of, it might as well have been Squirrel Girl number 7 or whatever.
It was still a very good issue. We get to meet Squirrel Girl's mom, which was adorable.
Yeah, she was absolutely awesome. She even gets a slightly new outfit from this new number 1. Someone asked them on Tumblr, is this Squirrel Girl going to wear a skirt all the time? And they're like, maybe. She has different outfits, so throughout the series we're going to see her wear all kinds of things. And the original poster seemed a little offended because it's like, it's a strong female character. Why is she wearing a skirt? And writer's like, who cares?
See, if I were a superhero, I would have a different change of outfit too. Because you got to think, they're probably getting really sweaty in that. You don't want to do laundry every day.
And filthy from the fires and stuff.
And like blood and stuff. Gross.
It was awesome. I think this one, you can jump right into it. They give you a good summary at the very beginning of the book. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is one of our favorite of the Marvel books. I think our favorite is still Silver Surfer, which we'll see if that ever returns. But this was really funny. It was great. It has the little notes at the bottom, which we always love. Very solid comic. One of the better Marvel books.
Next up, we have a brand new series from Vertigo. This is Art Ops number 1. It's written by Sean Simon, with art by Michael Allred, and the colorist is Laura Allred.
We ended up jumping on this one because of the premise and the artists behind it. Paintings get stolen or taken. They escape their actual painting and their actual people from those time periods. Very interesting, and that's what we read in the previous catalog. when you read this comic, you see that there's actually a police force out there set to protect these very expensive paintings like the Mona Lisa. They'll protect them by taking them out of the paintings using a special liquid or a special, I don't even really know what it is. It's like some scientific something that brings them to life. Then they're like, hey, come with us and you need to be safe because someone's trying to steal you. We're going to put a replacement in you. So it seems more like they're trying to take the entities living in the painting as opposed to the painting itself. They were very good in building this whole world and explaining how people don't notice that these people exist out there. So I thought that was very clever. But the comic itself and the writing and the character setup wasn't as impressive, and I was really disappointed in that.
Really? Because this was almost my pick of the week. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought, like you said, the world they created was really cool. It was just kind of, this could never happen, ever. But I didn't feel that it couldn't happen. I don't know, that's a bad way to put it. It didn't feel unrealistic to me because of the way they set up the story and brought it about. They still have so much mystery with these different characters. Michael Allred just does a great job. I absolutely love his artwork. Mm-hmm. We get the background of another character, and, immediately I was in love with these two people that they presented, and of course tragedy happens, because tragedy has to happen.
Of course.
And I'm excited to follow him and see where it goes, and I hope he falls in love with the Mona Lisa, because I think that would just be great. Like, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, Michael Allred has previously done, and is still working on Silver Surfer, but he was also big on iZombie, which is now on television, and he's done the title cards for that also. So.
Can I sing that song?
The opening?
iZombie?
Go for it.
Oh, that's all I know. That's the only part I wanted to sing.
So to me, I'll see what happens with number 2. Maybe I expected too much out of it because it has such a strong team behind it, but it's definitely not something we're dropping right off.
Right.
The next DC book is Batgirl number 45, written by Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher, art by Babs Tarr, and colors by Serge Lapointe.
It's my pick of the week, and you knew it was going to be my pick of the week.
I didn't know, but it was a very good fucking comic.
Yes.
It's gorgeous to look at.
It should be your pick of the week.
It's like a one-shot story that explores the relationship between Barbara and Dick Grayson. So there's really a lot there for either one of those fans. If you're picking up Grayson, you should probably pick up Batgirl number 45 too, because there's a lot of him in there.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and it was a love story, and the only thing that would have made this book better is instead of her getting mad at him, she was nice and sweet. I mean, the thing that would make it the greatest is if they just ran off together and get in love, but I understand why they didn't do that. I understand why they didn't do that. Stop. I understand. Okay, so it would have been better if instead of her getting angry, she was very understanding and said something along the lines of, I will always love you, but we just cannot be. But, say it nicer than that, because that's way too dramatic and not Batgirl.
If it hasn't become clear to you yet that this Batgirl is not from the same world as Gail Simone's Batgirl, then this definitely makes it very clear that this is for... there's even a lot of references to Sailor Moon. I mean, it's definitely for girls in their 20s would especially love Batgirl, and I hope more of them do pick this up because of that. But did you get that Sailor Moon vibe from this too, with Tuxedo Mask and Dick Grayson having that same parallel where he comes in, and they even show the history between the two?
I mean, I guess.
Babs is huge on Sailor Moon, so anytime I see any of that pops up, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. She loves Sailor Moon.
Now that you say that, yes, I do see the parallels. It would really be Sailor Moon if she just ran away with him, because she and Tuxedo, Serena and Tuxedo Mask are always together, and Babs and... See, no, I'm so conflicted, because I love Batgirl and Nightwing, but I also love Nightwing and Starfire.
Oh, yeah,
but
you got a decision to make there.
Who do I love more? Maybe I just love Nightwing.
You do not love Nightwing.
Maybe it's a Ginger thing. Maybe Ginger's just like Nightwing. Why does Nightwing get all the Gingers? I don't understand.
A year ago, you'd be like, fuck Robin. He's a baby.
Maybe.
This is why they've done a good job with Dick Grayson and this Grayson thing. I thought it was a huge mistake because I'm like, Nightwing is extremely popular, but Grayson, they've actually been able to cultivate the character and put him in all these books, and right now it's a huge effort to do it.
He's like James Bond.
Sort of, like a boyish James Bond.
Yeah.
Who was trained by Batman.
He's turning into a man now.
I wouldn't go that far.
Good job, Grayson. I think I just read too many fan fictions about it.
You probably did. But I am happy that they were able to make the character of Dick Grayson into Grayson, the secret agent, and make it work. He is appearing in different books. A lot of people are referring to him. Even younger readers I've seen, they're like, hey, do you have that Grayson comic? And I'm like, oh shit, here you go. And then, how do you know about Grayson? Here you go.
Oh, you mean this Robin comic?
Most of the time it's Nightwing. I'm like, oh yeah, here you go. But now they're saying Grayson. So I'm like, this is kind of awesome.
Secret
It's working.
Agent Grayson.
How much longer do you give them until they put him back into the Nightwing role?
Actually, a little while. I mean, if Grayson is doing this well, I think it's going to be a little while before it becomes Nightwing again. Because even in the regular Batman series, we have, like, stupid bunny ear Gordon Batman running around. So you don't need Nightwing in there. Because then he'd show up and be like, banged your daughter, peace!
In Batman and Robin Eternal, it's still Grayson with the rest of the Robins, and it does work out pretty well. I do still think you need a Nightwing out there, and I still would have liked it, as we tried to predict a year and a half ago, that Harper Row would become the new Nightwing, and you'd have a female Nightwing out there, you'd have Grayson, and then you'd have Jason Todd and Damian Wayne. Instead, they made her into her own character, which was fine, but we were completely wrong on that one. But there does need to be a Nightwing, and he will eventually go back to that role. But as you said, it sounds like they're really taking their time on that, and so far it's working okay for them.
Our next book is Robin, Son of Batman, number 5. This is written and drawn by Patrick Gleason with art by John Caleese.
So Talia al Ghul makes her return,
Blech.
but she doesn't have the ill intentions that we thought she might have had, based on the previous issues, based on what the history she has had with Damian, how Damian's betrayed her.
She's still a bitch.
But she actually cares for her son in this one.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't.
You have to accept the fact that she's a mother.
Nope.
And she will forever care for Damian Wayne in spite of whatever bounty she might have put on him.
Cool.
In spite of her actions and
she didn't
possibly
care
killing
for
him.
all those other sons that she just let die by the big worm things.
Because you have to have the perfect son of Batman, Kelly.
That's terrible.
It's Ra's al Ghul's legacy.
Terrible.
Ra's al
so
Ghul's
she only
legacy.
cares about the perfect son and not all the other sons?
Probably because Ra's al Ghul told her to. So this is Ra's al Ghul's thing. She follows her dad, and Ra's al Ghul's the man.
No, that's not... No, that's a terrible mother thing to do.
Well, Damian's taking care of them. It's all good. It's all fine.
No, they're gone.
Well, don't spoil the story either. It was a good story. I still think Pat Gleason relies too heavily on dialogue, especially when he's having the characters. You could have cut off half of that. Even the villain has this long monologue about his history. It's like, stop, just...
I don't think I even read all the monologue. I was like, oh, cool, you're a villain. Like, you're saying all these things. You didn't miss out anything.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not relevant.
That's what I've learned with these books is, like, when you start seeing 4 dialogue boxes in one panel... It's like, thank you for the background story, but I'm not going to learn anything, so...
And with Pat Gleason's awesome art, don't hide your art with all that dialogue.
Right.
You've done an awesome job telling the story previously with Batman and Robin from the New 52, in which there was so little dialogue and so much of your artwork, and I feel like most of the script was Peter J. Tomasi telling you, okay, this is how I want this scene set up. This is how I want this panel to look. Okay, now we're going to get a full page spread of whatever. And that spoke volumes to readers like us. And we're telling you, do that. But it's only the 5th issue, and I still really enjoy the story. I like that Damian is trying to fix his past, and unfortunately the past is fighting against him, which we expected. So yeah, I'm definitely staying on it. The artwork is great, and if you're a fan of Damian Wayne at all, or the previous Batman and Robin series, keep picking this up.
And Talia is stupid.
Final book this week is Sinestro number 16, written by Cullen Bunn, art by Brad Walker and Ethan Van Sciver, with colors by Jason Wright.
This is your pick of the week, and I knew it was going to be the pick of your week forever.
It was actually not my pick of the week.
You're lying.
I don't know if I had one. I mean, if I had to choose one, it'd probably be TMNT number 51. None of these popped up immediately as, like, right up there with Batman and everything else we read.
Really, even with Sinestro and Black Adam's, like, clearly love affair.
Yeah, see, I had a problem with that because I'm like, that's not me. I should be Black Adam, showing Sinestro around my home.
Why doesn't he love me? You'd be like, so here is the guest bathroom?
No, this was great. I almost picked up directly from Forever Evil, in which we saw that Sinestro and Black Adam got along because, as he mentioned in this comic, they're cut from the same cloth. They rule with an iron fist when they need to, but they care for their people so deeply. So both of those characters have so much in common, and when you put them in a book together, and we're finally seeing that with number 16, and I was really happy. I actually didn't expect this. Even though we follow the solicitations pretty heavily, the solicitation cover to this was not what we ended up getting in number 16. So you see Black Adam's chest with Sinestro's reflection on it, so it's like, oh shit, Black Adam's in this.
Sinestro's in his heart. That's what that implies.
How do you think the characters got along? I almost half expected them to, for some reason, start fighting, because that seems to be the thing in comic books that they do.
So they just have to fight.
They just have to fight initially, but they kind of respected one another.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because they both have the same ruling style, and they both understand the hardships that come with being a leader, which makes them rule that way. So they should get along really well. And, you know, like you said, they mentioned in the book they're cut from the same cloth. We see in here that they faced similar enemies, that they understand the hardships that come with the position that they're placed in. And, you know, why wouldn't you want to help somebody out? I don't know. I guess they're both villains, so they could choose not to help somebody out.
And if this means that one day in the future we'll see Sinestro and Black Adam on the big screen together in some form, just as a little wink to like, hey guys, remember Forever Evil? I'd be completely okay with it. If not, we have the comics. And yeah, it was a very good issue. Sinestro has been a solid series, aside from those weird crossovers that we had with Godhead.
There was what? Are you...
Not even Cullen Bunn's fault.
I like that Sinestro's daughter is like, who's this man?
Yeah, she's fallen in love with someone now. She's getting comfortable with Sinestro Corps.
Yeah, love it.
Being a member of it. And even, I forgot, she's one of the new gods, but she's still, like, following Sinestro's plans and orders. I'm like, all right, well...
Why not? Like, Sinestro, like, stuck it to her. He's like, now you're mine.
I like how the keeper of the Sinestro Corps is all, like, super controlled by Sinestro. It's like, she's in love, but Sinestro doesn't love you. Like,
no! Sinestro don't love nobody but himself, and maybe Black Adam.
And that old, his wife, his deceased wife, that's always going to be, I think, the thing that will anchor him to his old world, to Korrigar. Such a complex guy. And that's why we're reading it.
So guys, that will do it for our podcast this week. It is a shorter week because not a lot of news and not a lot of comic books, unfortunately. But just to reiterate, my pick of the week was Batgirl number 45.
And my pick of the week was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 51, if I had to pick one.
I did not have a pass of the week.
Same here. I think Art Ops number 1 was probably my least favorite of this bunch, but not enough to say that you shouldn't pick it up. For any new listeners that want to follow us on everywhere we're at, head on over to nerdupmedia.com. You can just click on the Reasons I'm Broke logo once you get to nerdupmedia.com, and it will show you a link to everywhere we're at, including the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, but also Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, all of that stuff. Whichever one you may have, you can follow us on there, and we will post up updates to the podcast, different pictures based on stuff that we talk about here. Like last week we talked about that Pokemon card that was misprinted. We put that up on everywhere. So Brokeheads and listeners can check it out there. So once again, nerdupmedia.com.
Also, while you're there, if you click on our YouTube link, we just recently put up an unboxing of the Batmobile. Coolest thing you guys are going to see today, I promise. So head over to YouTube and check that out.
Huge thanks to all the Brokettes, all the listeners out there for tuning in and for supporting us every week. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We'll see you next time.